Today I'm taking you along for the ride as I do a movie room makeover, transforming the space that was here and turning it into what you see right now.
Welcome back, sir. All systems for gaming will be prepared in a few minutes. For now, feel free to grab a cup of coffee and have a good day.
Hey everybody, Mike here. Welcome back to the Marvel Man Cave. This section of the room is going to change a little bit, and I'm kind of moving some stuff around because honestly, when I first moved into this house, one of the things that I wanted to do was put a bunch of Billy bookcases. I originally wanted all of this to be Billy bookcases. But the problem is the ceiling height here. I mean, you can see like I'm about 5'10", and it is very small ceiling, very short ceiling. So the Billy bookcase is about 79, almost 80 inches tall, and I think I have about 74 inches of ceiling height here. So obviously at that time the Billy bookcases I thought would not work. But if you saw my video from a couple months ago, you'll see obviously I was able to cut down 2 Billy bookcases and fit them into the space. And I've been very happy with the way these look. And a couple weeks ago, I was trying to see if I had enough space to fit another one in. And I think I do. If not with the space that's already there, I know I can cut a little bit more off the end of that desk, like less than an inch, which that got cut a little bit uneven anyway. So that would be perfectly fine because then I'd have the opportunity to cut it straight. But the plan is to put a Billy bookcase here, and then I'm going to repurpose this and move this one. I'm going to move that one to there, and then I'm going to basically recreate this, and then I'm going to move that Kallax unit. We need some storage in our laundry room, so I'm going to move this into the laundry room to give us a little bit more storage space. So I'm going to repurpose this as well, but then this will have the 4 or the 8 cubes, and then I'll do the same 4 like I have these here, but that'll give me another 4 cubes to put. Honestly, I'm probably going to put some of the helmets and stuff because I'm getting the Doctor Doom helmet. So I'm repurposing that. And I like that idea. I've really enjoyed this, especially with the exposed floor and everything. I just thought it always gave a nice look. But the one thing I do like is it's going to more mimic this side with the cube. There'll be a little bit of symmetry on both sides of the room. So I think I'm going to like that. And then this whole side will be all Billy bookcases. And then I'm just going to leave the Kallax and everything here. I'm going to leave that all exactly as it is now. And then I'm still going to rebuild that couch side at some point later this summer or early the fall. But you'll notice this, it's already empty, and I already have the Billy bookcase. This came and got delivered today. Sometime this evening it came in. So the plan is I got the piece that I cut off from the other Billy bookcase. I got to trim that one down. I'm not going to show that again. If you're interested in seeing how I took it from this size to this size, I'll link that video down below. But I'm going to kind of speed run through all that for you guys, not for me, and kind of replace this section here and then move this. And then eventually I'm going to have to cut all the spots for the lights because I want to mimic, you can kind of see the way I did it here. This was my first real test of this. I just used a regular drill to drill so I have the Govee rope light that runs the length of this. You can kind of see a little bit where I cut, but I did it with just a regular drill bit, and I ended up chopping up a little bit. I don't know if it's that easy to see. I'll probably be able to show it better once I have these lights out, but I'm gonna have to recreate that. But now I have a much better way of doing it with a Forstner bit, so I'll recreate that, and I'll end up having to do the same thing with this one. So I have some replacement of the, I don't know what you call them, but the little clips for the Govee rope light, because once you take that adhesive off, that sticker off, it's not going to stick again. So I got some replacements of those coming in so I can recreate it on that one to make everything, again, kind of consistent with the way it is over there with lighting and everything like that. And I'm going to light the new Billy bookcase the same way that I've lit both of those. So I think it's going to give me a little bit more space. I really like the idea of having the 3 Billy bookcases over there. That kind of matches what I got going over here. And then I'll have the Kallax here and all the Kallaxes over there. So the obvious first step of this was to move out the old Kallax and get that to another spot, just kind of putting it in the general area where it's going to be. And this is where things started to get, I would say, a little rough. So the Billy bookcase is the exact same height as the other two, but the difference is there is a small light strip that I have running from one side of the room to, I think it's the 16 or 18 feet that Govee allows. And so portion of that hangs down just enough to where I can't just easily slide the bookcase into position. So you can see here, I am attempting to finagle it into position by getting it past that small little light strip and the aluminum strip first, and just trying to see if I can do it there. But I ended up messing up the ceiling a little bit when I was doing that, and I just couldn't. By the time I got it tilted back enough, I could not swing the bottom part under it to make it obviously work or even remotely get even. So after doing a bit of soul searching, I decided probably the best thing to do was to actually try and come in from the side rather than trying a head-on attack. I was going to try to come in from the side. So I just slid it to kind of the starting point where the other bookcase is and was going to try to slide it in from the side and then push it into space from there. And keep in mind, at this point in time, I still didn't know if this bookcase was actually going to fit width wise. I thought I had enough space, but we're talking maybe an eighth, probably less than a quarter inch of space that I was going to need. So I kind of felt that I would be able to push things just apart enough that this bookcase would end up fitting. So this is where I start kind of trying to slide it in the spot, and that part worked. I was able to get it behind the light strip and start to get it into the general space where it was going to need to be. This is the point in the project where I realized that eighth of an inch or a quarter of an inch that I was talking about did make the difference. So another update, I last night I had a buddy help me kind of get the bookcase into its final place after I did all the lighting. And again, if you want to see how I cut the bookcases and then lit them, I did two separate videos on how I fit the Billy bookcases into this spot and then lit them. So the Billy bookcase is kind of done. I don't have anything left of that, but the old Kallax that used to be there is now here. I took the old one off the wall. You can see there's all the lights that used to be up there. All the stuff that's in there is on the floor and in various spots of the room right now. So I have this. I had to spackle the holes that the old one was using to hang on the wall. So I gotta wait for that to dry and then patch paint that and then basically put that back in the spot, and then I'll just have to drill the holes for the new lights in the upper and the bottom part of that cube, and then it just really just putting everything in and on, and then that part will be done. I got everything installed last night. Put the new rope lights, well, the old rope lights into their new position, so you can see how just the double Kallax works a little bit differently than the previous one. You know, I always did like kind of having that space at the bottom open. I thought it gave it a nice look, especially with the light shining down on it. But things change. You got to move on. But this is the way it looks now. I kept the, obviously the top is all the same. But you can see everything is pretty much exactly how it's same. I still have the plexiglass stuff in the front as well. But what I thought I did a little bit better this time, and I'm going to take this out so you can see, is the hole that I put in there, to me, is a lot better than it was before. I used a Forstner bit to cut into it this time. Last time I just had a drill bit, so it didn't work quite as well. So I was able to get that in pretty well. And what I did is I actually just made a jig to wrap around here, and then I marked the spot where the edge of the Forstner bit would go. That way it was consistent on every single one in the top and the bottom. So this is in the correct spot. this is what the cube looks like completely installed. Make sure I got everything this as close to the wall as possible. Obviously there's a little bit because I never removed the molding there, but I just have the power brick, the power strip, sorry, and everything in there. And since that's white, it kind of blends in. That used to be underneath, so it just kind of moved position. But to me, it doesn't stand out quite as much because it just looks like a box sitting there, and I could always put something there. There's a little bit of space that if I wanted to put a shelf and I have something that might actually fit, I could put that there and build that into it. But overall, I'm really happy with this section. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do with the bottom cubes yet. That's why there's two empty. I moved my Wolverine stuff over because I reconfigured my Fantastic Four stuff. I added my Black Panther stuff to this cube because I had the beads before and I had them up top, but it felt like it was getting a little bit too busy up top. And I moved the Dragon Flyer into here to give this cube a little bit of a Black Panther feel. And then this is all my Wolverine stuff. I did pare it down a little bit because I wanted it to fit in one cube. I'm not 100% complete with this set yet, but we're getting there. As most projects go, it looks a lot worse before it looks better, but I'm really happy with the Billy bookcase and how this turned out. I'm not 100% sure on what I'm actually going to put up here yet. I've thought about moving my Blu-rays over, but since I shoot a lot of the videos at my desk, I kind of like having the movies as the backdrop. I've also thought about moving my steel books from the smaller Billy bookcase to here as well. So I made sure these shelves line up with those so I know everything would fit over. So I think that is another possibility. The other possibility is just kind of using it for knickknacks and stuff like that for now, and then letting it grow. But I'd be curious, what do you think I should put in this space? Should I move my Blu-rays over to have one big movie wall with a few collectibles, or should I just let it be empty for now and look at it as a way for space to grow into in the future? I'd be curious what your thoughts are on this. Let me know in the comments. Here's a look at the final results. Again, I was really happy with the way this came out, but if you watched this far, please let me know what you think in the comments below. And I'm hoping someone is inspired to do something with their space. And if you are, please tag me in the comments below if you share videos on YouTube. I would love to check out your space and let's inspire each other. But for now, I hope everybody is having a wonderful day. And don't forget, collect what you love.